All right, I want you to see what is directed light appearing on my wall. This is my window, which the blinds are closed. That's my window. My wall that's nearest the door over here, away from the window. Okay, and it is appearing on the wall as I lift up the blinds. This is speaking to what's light that's being targeted in an upward manner and at an angle. This would never happen. Again, what does common sense dictate? The sun is above. The sun would be above in the sky. And also sunlight is not shooting like a laser. All of this is outside of the behavior of natural sunlight. And also, you also know that the sun is not remaining stationary over a single address, in alignment to that address, aiming directed light for the duration of a day at one address. The entity is engaging in what is stalking with light, remaining with light, following with light, pursuing with light. And also, you know that this is engineered light because you're talking about what is appearing, creating multiple shadows. When you put your hand in it, it doesn't disappear. It bounces off of surfaces in appearance. It manifests in the shade when there's no light whatsoever. This is entirely demonic. And it is more than one method. Look at the ceiling. This is light here on the ceiling. This is another iteration. You can see the blinds on a smaller magnification. You're looking at different types of magnification of light. This is entirely demonic. This is speaking to what is targeting inside of my private space with light. And it's totally satanic. Amazon Prime is here group stalking. In the specific environment and relevant position is the execution of that criminal system of federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a state system, and this environment is maintained for that ongoing systematic purpose. It is a threat to the life of American citizens, while the government, acting via the people of the state are going by the name of Amazon Prime, that are systematically engaging in group stalking and monitoring. They do so with the police as well, which is why the Amazon employees will be going to federal prison. Okay? While you are present, surrounded by this phenomenon, you're talking about what is direct evidence of nothing other than a group stalker, and it is prima facie case for whoever you document in that environment facilitating the state's criminal system. Delivering a package in relevant position at the specific environment, at the facilitating venue, is the criminal pattern of conduct for which there is no legal excuse. There's no legal form. The entity is engaging in an ongoing, ceaseless threat to your life, your physical safety, and overall well-being. Seeking, as I've demonstrated through the Los Angeles Police Department, in the same environment, engaging in what is the terrorizing threat of group stalking in relevant position, amplified audible activity, while they are group stalking in a helicopter, which is, again, the pattern of conduct by the series of corrupt law enforcement agencies that I have already exposed and documented since 2018. This is a well-documented pattern of conduct, and so is Amazon Prime. Okay, that's called crossing a path in the specific environment. Pressing on their brakes is light activity. This is demonic. You're going to remember the environment that they're in. Everything is serving for the engagement in elements on a joint basis, on a systematic basis. Sunlight, that's supposedly coming from the sun. Look at the covering. This is all manner of impossible. You are witnessing a demonic environment. Amazon Prime is here engaging in activity creation in a demonic environment. They are participating in what is domestic terrorism in concert with the people of the state. They're criminally facilitating this terrorism in concert with the people of the state and the public entity itself. The public entity is systematically acting via the Los Angeles Police Department, a demented, and that is a demon-possessed, corrupt law enforcement agency that is engaging in operating a state system of group stalking and monitoring. Okay, that's called audible activity. While you have the impossible light, that's P.O.C. All right, they are engaging in the pattern of conduct, and that's why you have light that appears at nighttime on this wall, as I documented this morning. This is why I'm showing you now. My hand stands up, and there's multiple shadows. I want you to see this. Multiple shadows. The entity is engaging in group stalking. The pattern of the blinds is here. This is all manner of directed light. While they walk around on the venue, they're monitoring. While they drive around on the venue, they're monitoring. While they drive on and off, coming and delivering packages, they're monitoring. This is group stalking. Presence in the path, maintenance of audible activity, and the maintenance of light. This is why you have from 7 a.m. until after 5 p.m. the maintenance of a light source, which under no circumstances, not only is that not the sun because it's not the natural environment, this is also not sunlight. None of it resulting from sunlight. Sunlight's not bouncing off of the ledges onto the ceiling, onto the side walls. This is a specific pattern of conduct. Okay? This is a very specific pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. You're also seeing how I show you outside of the buildings, the shape of the windows, the light is appearing on the side of the wall. I've shown you the light that's appearing on the ceilings in the living room. While the sun is supposedly outside of my living room windows, I'm showing you in here how is the pattern of these blinds now appearing on these walls. But remember the other day when I'm showing you was appearing on the ceiling. This is all manner of what is demonic. It's exposing a demonic system, and this is what is. Impunity. The people of the state will be subject to federal prison. They will be subject to what is being named by a federal database as engaging in group stalking with the people. They act with impunity and they act with malice. And they also continue to reveal the demented mind state that they are actually seeking to conceal while they're being documented and exposed. This is actually pacing. Light activity, light activity. They're crossing path in the engineered light. This is engineered light. That's why it's appearing all over multiple shadows. They're all in engineered light. And this is group conduct. It's very highly, highly demented. But don't focus here because that's what they want you to. Amazon is engaging into its movement. This is called demonic patrolling. Let me be clear. All of the state of California is monitoring. The only reason why the light source is remaining here for an excess of 10 hours a day is because I haven't left the property. I've already documented and exposed the system such that the light source remains in its zenith over my head for the duration of the day from beginning of the day until the end. That's what was going on at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, where the entity was rising the sun. Where? It wasn't in alignment to the living room window at Alvarado Gardens. It was directly over the Museum of History and Arts in Ontario, California. An impossibility, impossible to coexist. And it is also speaking to what is a specific environment. The entity is maintaining the pattern of conduct wherever it is that I go. The system of group stalking and monitoring is that the people of the state are criminal facilitators, the malicious face of the public entity that's acting with them, and they are engaging what are satanic methods. The guise under which somebody getting in the car, you know what that is? It's called crossing path light activity creation. Using their vehicles is a method of light activity, and they're moving around in engineered light activity. This is what group stalking is. Group stalking and criminal monitoring. And I want to be clear, they do so. The behavioral pattern is to pick up an activity and be in the path with simultaneity to my exposing their conduct. This is why you saw the Los Angeles Police Department engage in what is heightened activity. They're always stalking and group monitoring. But as I started to capture third parties, you saw LA Fire hover over my head by helicopter as I got on track, a third party group stalker. Today, as you see me exposing the speaker company's employee engaging in what is unlawful workplace terrorism and group stalking while you're on the job, the malicious guise of group stalking by working at the facilitating venue, immediately you saw the Los Angeles Police Department hover in helicopter, and then they hovered again in helicopter while I'm revealing to you the demonic environment that they are group stalking in. All right, the entity engages in what is a behavioral pattern, and it is reasonably construed as and shall be analyzed as the unreasonable threat, the impermissible threat, while you expose their demonic methods and their criminal conduct that is corporate on behalf of a public entity. The entity engages in heightening that behavior. Okay, I want to be clear because we're not just focusing here. I've already shown you what's going on in Ontario, California. The whole manner of an environment the sun would is nowhere possibly present over Alvarado Gardens while it's remaining over the Ontario Museum of History and Arts in the morning, setting in perfect alignment with me, aiming light all over the grounds of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts in the evening, remaining directly over my head at the Ovid Family Community Library in the morning, rising there at before 7 o'clock in order to document that impossibility, and present in the evening after 6 p.m. showing where that light source, in conformity to a pattern, out of alliance with the natural environment, impossible to coexist with what I'm showing is occurring at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, but it is well within a pattern of conduct where the people of the state and the state acting directly via the demon-possessed law enforcement agency, LAPD, engage in what is a demented pattern. This is relevant positioning, stalking in the path, light activity, crossing path, light activity. And they're all creating light activity while they move around. This is why they maintain light, both inside of the private space. This is what you know that they're moving around in because it's not sunlight that's appearing on the walls in my apartment. They're engaging in maintaining presence in a deliberately maintained environment. And it is speaking to malice. The people of the state are group stalking outside of the grounds of Alvarado Gardens. Everybody driving by up and down that street, they do so with knowledge of what I'm doing as I'm doing it. This is massive monitoring and group stalking. That's called crossing path. They live in relevant position. They are group stalking and monitoring where they live. They are not present as individuals, understand. Where you establish the venue, this is the state acting vicariously surrounding. And the criminal facilitation by the Los Angeles Police Department by amplifying helicopter activity is speaking to what the people of the state are doing. The ongoing phenomenon of directed light or impossible light activity or the unnatural light is speaking to what the people of the state are doing. That's called demonic pacing. Patrolling, one crossing path after another, that's what they're doing, using vehicles. I just want to break down, you're witnessing the demonic. It's serving the criminal elements of monitoring, but this is demonic behavior that they're engaging in. Okay, they're doing so in this specific environment. Understand this is not the natural environment. The sun would never be present. Understand it has abandoned right now its location beside 1810. While I go back to the office, that's where the light source will go back to being adjacent to building 1810. All right, and again, that is incompatible with what is already established as supposedly the sun that remains over the entrance. And then as I'm inside of the Ovid Family Community Library, over the library elevator, that window above the elevator where I'm capturing the light source in the middle of the day, that is surely not going to be anywhere and not coexisting at the same time ever. It's impossible that that's the sun over the elevator window, which is a matter of published documentation. This is a demonic system, and they are acting in concert. This is called light activity. That's called crossing path and light activity. They're all creating light activity while they move around. This is demonic behavior, and it is going to be prosecuted as what is terrorism. All right, a public entity acting in concert with the people of the state is terrorism. A public entity acting in concert with the state employing demonic methods of targeting you is terrorism. Doing so in violation of your constitutional and human rights for no legitimate purpose and then heightening that level for purposes of harassment and intimidation is terrorism. By virtue of the identity of the actor, it is terrorism. This is P.O.C. They live at what is a crime scene. The people of the state shall be subject, again, I'm going to state it. You would want to engage in group stalking and monitoring with the police as it is documented. You're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison where you engage in posing an impermissible threat. Like a third-party group stalker right now, they're engaged in activity. This is grounds of federal prison. They are aware of what I'm doing. You know that because of the engineered light. You know that because of the remaining of the light source. This is a state system. Their continuous engagement in audible activity creation, irrelevant position is criminal. You'll civilly and criminally prosecute the company. You will also do so as they act with any law enforcement and pose a threat to your life. And they're posing a threat while they are facilitating criminal monitoring. That is federal prison. You are going to, by virtue of creation of federal policy, require and force. You are going to strong arm the entity that acts directly and vicariously and punish and deter with very severe federal policy. Okay, that's what that is. That's criminal facilitation. And I can go and document them, right? But I don't need to because they're going to be prosecuted. This entirety of this environment over here, they're all monitoring. It's ongoing criminal facilitation. I'm just naming Alvarado Gardens, but it goes beyond the gates of Alvarado Gardens. That is criminal unlawful facilitation, and they are doing it on behalf of a state which is already established as a group stalker. That's how you know what the Fontana Police Department was doing. That's how you know what the Ontario Police Department was doing. That's how you know what the Upland Police Department was doing. That's how you know what the Montclair Police Department was doing. That's how you know what the Chino Police Department was doing. That's how you know what the San Bernardino Police Department was doing. That's how you know what the Pomona Police Department were doing. They were doing it in the same phenomenon. It's impossible, and it's a pattern. This engineered light is a pattern. It's a pattern. And that's how you know what the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department was doing. That's how you know what the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is doing. I've documented all of them engaging in this system, and it is unmistakable. They're group stalking, and the people of the state are going to federal prison. They will be named on what are federal databases, identifying the threat that they pose to the lives of American citizens, acting in this malicious system that was presupposed to have never been concealed. And now when it's being concealed, now when it is being exposed and serving for prosecution, you are looking at the terrorism that they engage in continuously. Any other stalker that would persist in stalking you when they are aware by virtue of the crime of monitoring and group stalking, the entity knows that it's being documented. By virtue of engaging in repeatedly kidnapping me, having no probable cause, not only because you're a group stalker and monitor, but because you are literally illegally arresting me on the street, because you're hostile that I'm documenting you, making up information in the courts, which are nothing other than facilitating venues where the entity kept the light source over the courts. Okay, directed light inside of the courts, I've already documented it. Every facility, the entity is engaging in a massive system, and the people of the state will be punished severely. That's what this is speaking to. The established pattern of conduct already exists, and it is satanic in every regard. It is currently 2:26 p.m. That was the revealing of what is impossible light. This is capturing what is a terrorism inside of your private space. Look at this. This is terrorism inside of your private space. Sunlight doesn't do that. If this you're talking about, and let's break it down logically. First of all, this is not the natural environment. The sun is not remaining for an excess of 10 hours over one address. This is the entity also it's not sunlight because sunlight is not. The sun is above the building. Under no circumstances would it even manifest on this wall. It's also not sunlight because it's creating multiple shadows. That's not sunlight. It's also not sunlight because you're talking about what would never appear from bouncing off and then appearing on the wall. In every way, it's impossible light activity, which Amazon Prime continuously showing what is their condition. The demon-possessed engage in group stalking. It's satanic methods of targeting, and they do so under the guise of a company name. You will civilly and criminally prosecute. While they want to do it with the state directly, civilly and criminally prosecute and include federal prison. You will not hide behind any company name. You will drain the pockets of that company name and publicly expose them, and they too will be added to that federal database, serving for what is knowledge by the American people, by the world, for these companies that are acting with corrupt governments who are monitoring and targeting American citizens for the unlawful purpose of tormenting and terrorizing. It is currently 2:27 p.m. and this is P.O.C. This is P.O.C.